Hi guys, Faxinator here from Motion Swift Synthesis. In this video I will be giving you some information and showing you how to route your network ports and let Aeolian Meditation through your firewall so that you can use the dedicated Android app. For videos that are actually showing the controls and explaining every single thing on the app itself, look for another video or look in the manual. Here we'll be just discussing how to get the connectivity to work and how to get the networking set up. So first things first, to grab the app, all you need to do is either look for it on the Google Play Store. It's called Aeolian Meditation Control, or you can just click over here and this will open up your browser directly with the link to the app. Once the app is installed, then as I said, what you need to do is you need to forward your ports. So if you look over here, these are the default ports that the whole system is set up for. There's a port that the device itself is receiving on. The default is 8000, and the port that is transmitting on in order to enable bidirectional control to the app. Bidirectional, what I mean by that is if I'm moving now on the app, a control, then it will move whatever I'm moving. But if you set it also to transmit back to the app, then when you move controls over here, you will see it also move on the app. This goes also for, let's say you want to change a preset, so it will update the settings on the app. So ideally, you would connect both receive and transmit, but you don't have to. Okay, so let's go back to the ports for a minute. These are the default ports, as I said. There's no real reason to change them unless you really know what you're doing, and there's a reason you need to change to use other ports. So let's say we're using these guys over here. So in order to forward them, you need to go inside your router settings. Now this assumes you have a basic understanding of how to do that. Most routers will have a pretty simple and well-known fixed address. Over here it's 192.168.1.1. There's a good chance that this is also the address for your router, but if you don't know and you can't find it out, then just call your internet service provider or whoever set up your network, you know. So on my machine, like I said, 192.168.1.1 is the router address. There's actually usually no password. The login here is just admin, and the password is again admin, admin, admin. But again, you know how your own network is set up. Once you go inside into the router settings, you'll have a window that will look something like this. Obviously, it'll look different depending on whatever router your internet provider is. But what you need to look for is for the port forwarding. So I think over here it's on the Advanced tab. Let's see, forwarding over here. So what you need to do is to forward the ports, the port 8000 basically, which is the port that this guy's receiving on, back to this specific PC that we're using here. So you can find that by going to the, whoops, what did I do? You're going to your command prompt and typing in ipconfig. And you will see over here in the IPv4 address, the address for this computer is 192.168.1.13. So as you see, I've set that up. And this would be your local IP address that you set here. External IP would be the IP address for the internet itself. You can find that out if you just go to whatsmyp.com, and this is the number that will show up. And you'll put that in external IP. And then local start port, local end port, external start port, external end port. You need 8000, but I'm routing a whole range, 8000 to 9000. The protocol must be UDP. You can set to both, but there's no reason we need UDP here. And of course, you need to enable it. Once that is applied, over here I already had it applied. You're set on that part of it. And if you go back to the device, now that port is forwarded to this computer. This is also not enough. You need to also enable Aeolian Meditation to pass through your firewall. So if you press fire, it'll already bring up the Windows firewall over here for me. Obviously, if you're using some other firewall, if you actually installed a third-party firewall, then I assume that you know what you're doing with firewalls. But for Windows firewall, you go in here, allow a program or feature through Windows firewall, and you need to look for Aeolian Meditation. It should be somewhere here. There we go. Now we have all sorts of tests going on here, so I have many different versions of them. But basically, you need to have Aeolian Meditation going through the firewall. Once that is ticked, You know, you can tick home, private, public network. Just tick both of them, I guess, if you're in a home network, you know. One thing to notice, in order to change these settings, you might need to click over here in order to ungray them out. So you need to be in an administrator mode in your computer. Obviously, if it's your own computer, your music computer, then you are most likely the administrator, so no problem to just click over here, change these settings, and just tick whatever you want to tick, and it will ask you, you know, if to let it through the firewall. Now, there's a chance you don't even need to do this. The first time that you click on connect over here, there will be a pop-up and it will ask you if you want to let it through the firewall. So just in case you missed that, I just show you how to do it manually, okay? But there's a good chance that you can avoid this step if it automatically, on the first connect, you just let it through, click OK, and let it through the firewall. Excuse me. Okay, so it's through the firewall, the ports are set up. Now over here, you have the receiving IP address of the computer that you're receiving on. Now you might ask, why do I need to even input this? Because, I mean, doesn't the computer know what IP address it's on? Normally, yes, it does. You can just leave it like this. Default it's 0000, which just means just use whatever local host address this PC has. But if you're an advanced user, you know, on some computers, if you have more than one network adapter, then you will see different addresses here. And it just allows you to pick the exact address that you want to use, the exact network adapter that you want to use. So for normal users, guys, you can just, in 99% of the cases, just leave it like this. And the other side of it is where to transmit to. So you need the IP address of the app, basically. Now, how do you get the IP address of the app? This is actually a really, really simple step. On the app itself, once you click here the connect button, you see on the screenshot it's already connected. This field over here, which is normally when you're not connected, it's a blank field. It just shows XXXXXXX. Once you click connect, it'll tell you this IP, meaning the IP of this device running this app. So here it's 192.168.1.14, and this is what I have to input over here. Again, the ports I don't need to touch. Now, let's say you kind of had your own settings over here, and you want to be reusing them for next time and for the times afterwards and whatever. You can just click over here and save a preset that saves just the settings on this OSC page. It's unrelated to the presets of the rest of the synth. So it just comes in a little bit handy, you know, because you don't want to be browsing presets and having it, you know, switch your whole all the parameters that you input over here. So you only need to do this one time, basically what I showed right now. Set all your parameters one time and you're good to go for the future. Save your presets and you can load it at any time. So that's basically it. I have an app open right now. You obviously can't see it, but I am connected with the app. Now the last step that I need to do is to click connect. Oh, okay, it is the first time that we're using this version. So what I showed in the firewall before, if I just click allow access over here, then I don't need to manually set the firewall. Now it just did it for me. So this is pretty handy. Now you notice once I clicked connect, once it establishes connection, if everything is okay, then the second, this is the button, and this one will light up, and you will know that you are connected. So now I've connected both receive and transmit, and as you can see, I'm moving not with the mouse, I'm moving with the app, the different parameters over here from the main page of the app. So it's connected and it's working right now, and no problem. One thing to note, maybe we'll look at two things. So first things first, you see here there's a max value over here and a tag value. If you're using our own app, the Aeolian Meditation control that we built, then all you have to do is just leave it at default as app. But if you're using other OSC, you want to use other OSC programs to control Aeolian Meditation. So we're giving you that option. There's no problem. But we're also helping you out a bit to set the ranges, the minimum, the maximum. Let's say you have an app that is outputting a range of 0 to 100, and you want that range to map to all of our controls properly. So what you need to do is set it to integer, because it's an integer range, and then the maximum field comes into play. You can set it to 100, and right now with the app, then of course, it doesn't really matter if you're using our app, but if you're using another app, then the maximum and the type tag help you kind of sort it out. Integer 32 means basically just the whole range of integer 32, that huge number. Basically, if this is, guys, if this is Chinese for you guys, then you don't need it. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know why this tag is important and why you need the maximum and everything. If you're using just our app, then you can just set it to app, leave this at default. You don't need to do anything. But just showing that you can also use other OSC apps, and we're giving you the option to scale all the controls properly. So this is basically it. The last thing. Now I told you that the app both receives and transmits. The device both receives and transmits from the app. So what if you want to, for example, change a preset over here and sync it to the app, have all the controls synced to the app? Now there's a small limitation that this takes a few seconds to pass all the parameters, to do it in a timely manner where you don't lose any parameters and everything gets transferred to the app. So we're kind of helping you know when the whole preset basically finishes loading on the app. Notice that I change a preset and now this LED over here is blinking. It is changing parameters from the device to the app. It's updating all the app parameters, and you see that it stopped blinking. That means it finished. So it's taking it a few seconds, but this is both a limitation, but also, you know, we're giving you the indicator to know basically here, again, it's done right now. So it's fairly easy to set up. It shouldn't be very hard if you follow our instructions. Basically on this video, the same instructions are also in the manual. If you have any additional problems with it, we're always here to help. You know, just ask and we'll help get you sorted out. It's really not that difficult. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any questions.